Hey, good morning, grade 10s. We're going to start looking at probability. You often hear about the concept of probability in the news or on the radio, for example, where the sports commentator says that there's a 75% chance of SA beating Australia, or the weatherman says that there's a 30% chance of rain. So, everything in life, or there's many things in life that we can base on probability. What is the probability of something happening? In mathematical terms, how we present a probability is we will say the number of favorable outcomes over the total number of possible outcomes. So if you had to say, let's take the sports commentator says that 75% chance of SA beating Australia. It's not just, oh, South Africa must be a little bit stronger than Australia, so let's aim it at 75%. They go backtrack it at all the games where South Africa has played against Australia, and throughout all those games, South Africa has beaten Australia 75% of the time. Same with the weatherman. They don't just look at the weather and say, it looks like, oh, it's very cold today, so probably tomorrow it will rain. They will base the climate and everything, the temperature of what the day will bring, and they go backtrack and they look at all the days beforehand who had the same exact temperature and humidity, etc., and then they would say, okay, on those days, 30% of those days it actually rained. So that's why tomorrow there is a probability of 30% of rain. There are three ways of expressing a probability. You can express it as a fraction, a decimal, or as a percentage. Most of the time, you will see that we do present it in a fraction form. They do then sometimes ask you to also write it up as a percentage, and very minimal time, very few times they ask you to do it in a decimal form. Okay. So if you had to look at flipping a coin and it landing on its head, so a coin has two sides, a heads and a tails. And for it to land on the heads is 1 out of 2 chances. It's 50% chance. Okay. The traffic light being green, not thinking about the timing now that it's more green than yellow per se. Just if it had the exact amount of time with each color, then you would say for the traffic light being green, it would be 1 out of 3 chances. Okay, 0.33 and 33.33%. Then the last event is rolling a dice, then it landing on a 7. And if you think of a dice, there's 1 to 6. There's really not a 7 on there, so it's 0 out of 6 chance. It's 0% chance. Okay, all probabilities will lie somewhere in between certain, which is 100%, and impossible, which is 0%. For instance, an event that is certain to happen is a probability of 100%. Like if I say to you, what is the probability if it is today, Saturday, that tomorrow will be Sunday? It's 100% chance. Okay, so it definitely will happen that if today is Saturday, tomorrow will be Sunday. Okay. Second one, an event that will never happen has a probability of 0% or 0. So if I say to you, pig fly, can pigs fly? No, 0% chance of that happening. Then an event that could happen will have a probability between 0 and 100%. And it depends on the probability of it, where it will lie closer to the 0% or closer to 100%. So if I say to you, what is the probability of you winning the lotto, it will lie closer to 0% than to 100%. Okay, and we normally can represent all these probabilities on a probability line where it's between 0%, impossible with a yellow, all the way through to certain, which is 100%. So something that would most likely be in the middle, even chance, is if I talk about having a child and what is the probability of it being a girl? Okay, there's either just a boy or a girl, so it's a 50-50 chance. If you think of unlikely, like I said, maybe winning the lotto will more fall within the unlikely side. And likely, if I say to you, would you write something down today on a piece of paper. It's likely. Okay, let's have a look at a few examples. Express the following probability as a fraction, a decimal, and a percentage, and use the wording as well. Okay, so if you look at this, number one, it says, what is the probability that Sarah was born in a family, that Sarah was born first in a family with 5 children? So if you think of 5 children, what is the favorable number of outcomes? Is to be number one. Okay, well, she was born first, so to be the oldest in that family. And how many spots are there for the eldest child? Only one. So it's 1 out of the 5 chances. And then if you punch that in your calculator, 1 divided by 5 gives you 0.2. If you times it with 100 to change it to a percentage, you'll get 20%. And it is unlikely. Okay, it lies under the 50%. So it's more towards the unlikely side than the likely side. Okay, what is the probability of rolling a multiple of 2 when rolling a single die? Or, I know in the modern English they use dice. They have one dice, many dice, they just use dice. Okay, so what is the probability of rolling a multiple of 2 when rolling a dice? So if you think of a dice, you can roll a 2, which is a multiple of 2, a 4, and a 6. So there's 3 out of 6. Okay, and we normally simplify that fraction to a half, which would be 0.5. Or 50%, and that is an even chance. Number 3, what is the probability of it raining today if it is currently raining outside? So definite, it's certain because it has already happened. So it's 1 out of 1. It's 1, which is certain, which is 100%, and it's definite. It's a certainty that it will rain. Okay, number 4, what is the probability of getting a multiple choice question correct if there are 4 possible outcomes? So to choose it correct, there's only one that is correct. Okay, so it's 1 out of 4, which gives you 0.25, 25%. So just guessing a multiple choice, it's unlikely that you will get it right. Okay, you are running late for school and you need to grab a pair of matching socks from the drawer. If you have one school sock in your hand and there are 8 different socks in the drawer, what is the probability that you grab the correct sock? That's also to say that there's no other matching socks. So it's just one pair that will match that one in your hand. Okay, so obviously 1 out of 8, 0.125, 12.5%, and it's also unlikely. Number 6, what is the probability of you winning a raffle if you've bought 85 out of 100 tickets? Okay, and that's 85 out of 100, 0.85, 85%, and it is likely. We actually had a friend of ours who participated in, it was the Cars magazine, and you had to buy the car magazine and do an entry to win a Subaru or a Subaru, however you want to say that, the car. And he bought, I think probably close to 100 or 400, can't remember the exact, but he bought a lot. Magazines, and then he entered all of them. And by doing that, he actually won the car. So that's how he won his first car. Okay, now you try the. Okay, let's quickly have a look at these 10 questions. State the probability of each of the following events as a decimal between 0 and 1. So rolling a dice on a 6-sided dice, rolling a 7 on a 6-sided dice. There's no 7 on a dice, so it will be 0, impossible. January having 31 days. If you do the knuckle check, you will see that January starts on top of the knuckle, which is 31 days, so it's certain, it's 1. A coin landing with heads facing up, that would be 0.5 because it's 50-50 chance. Winning a raffle, if you bought 7 out of the 10 tickets, so it will be 0.7. The next baby born is a girl, that's also 50-50 chance, so it will be 0.5. That there are 12 months in a year, that's certain, that would be a number 1. Man giving birth to a baby, 0, impossible. Winning the lotto, it would be probably highly unlikely. but not impossible. So it will be 0,0000000000001. Okay, so it's just very highly unlikely. And then tomorrow being Friday, if today's Wednesday, okay, that's impossible because if today's Wednesday, tomorrow will be Thursday. And then a tornado hitting Pretoria, and that would also be unlikely or highly unlikely because we don't normally get tornadoes in Pretoria. So that would also be, but it's not impossible. So it will also be 0,00001, round about there. Okay, and then let's look at the last example. Consider a box of sweets that contain 3 red, 4 orange, 5 green, and 8 pink sweets. Okay, so the first thing that you need to do is you need to always add up how many sweeties are there all together. Okay, so you consider a box of sweets contain 3 red, 4 orange, so 3 plus 4 is 7, 5 green, which will give you 12, and 8 pink sweets. So together, in totality, there's 20 sweets. What is the probability of randomly selecting a red sweet? So for the red sweets, where are they? Containing 3 red. So 3 out of 20. Okay. A blue sweet, if you think how many, are there any? 3 red, 4 orange, 5 green, 8 pink. So no, there's no blue sweets. So it would be 0 out of 20. And then the last one that says either a pink sweet or an orange sweet. So you have to add those two together because you can, if you dip your hand into a bowl and you need to either pick an orange or a pink one, because there's 4 oranges, you've got 4 chances, and 8 pink ones. 8 plus 4 is 12. So your chances there, or the probability there, is 12 out of 20. Just always remember to simplify your fractions. Okay, and then write each answer as a fraction, a percentage, and a decimal. Okay, thanks for watching grade 10s, and that is it. And I hope you understand when we talk about probability, it's not to teach you at all about gambling, and maybe in fact it's to teach you, to tell you or to show you how highly unlikely it is to win and how bad gambling then is for you. So it's just to talk about life, and when we talk about the weather and when we talk about sports that's being played, what does it mean when they say that there's so much chance or so many chance of something happening? Okay, thanks guys. You must have a wonderful day. Bye.